Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be talking about One Piece Chapter 935, and honestly, this was a pretty middle of the road chapter for me. There were some parts that I enjoyed, but I don't know, I didn't have super strong feelings about it. So I made a list of all the things that I kind of thought were interesting or just wanted to talk about, and then there's not necessarily a specific order. Well, there kind of is, but I'm not going to go through all the details of the chapter necessarily in great, significance, but I'm going to go over everything that I wanted to talk about. So first of all, we got a look at 3 wardens, 2 vice wardens, and 1 chief warden, and I'm not sure, at the end of the last chapter, we got to see at least one of them, but I'm not sure if they even showed up at all in the other chapters or were even just hinted at. I don't have a very good memory for this kind of thing. But I'm pretty positive that the Chief Warden was brand new. So going through, we got Vice Warden Solitaire, and she's got a monkey smile fruit, and I don't know why that gives her extra arms, but she's got a tail, and that's pretty cool. Number 2, we got Vice Warden Daifugo, and we definitely met him at least in some way in the last chapter because him and Luffy were about to go at it. He has a scorpion smile fruit, and you can definitely see it in his design. He's got like a ponytail knot thing, and that basically changes into the scorpion tail. And then on top of that, he's got a bunch of legs, which makes sense for a scorpion, and they've all got, his motif is like pointy stuff on him, I guess, so whatever. Finally, we have the Chief Warden, and that's Babanuki, and he has an elephant smile fruit, and he's another one of those smile fruit users that has it's basically just on him, rather than him having features of whatever. So he's got a giant elephant face here that fires out like a cannon. It's pretty cool, actually. As far as designs go, the 3 of them have pretty decent designs and are pretty par for the course as far as the headliners and the smile fruit users. So nothing crazy there. As all this is going on, we got Queen showing up, and he's just kind of rocking out. He's being funky and crazy, and he seems like a rather interesting character to begin with. He's obsessed with Komurasaki, and they're like, when are we gonna tell him that she's dead? And the other guy's like, if you want to tell him, I'm not interested. So they're a little afraid of telling him about that. After this, he's planning on going to the pleasure hall to go see her, and we shall see how well that goes for him. Anyway, so he shows up, and the warden, the chief warden, ends up having to talk to him, and Queen's like, okay, I want you to break it down. 3 most problematic things going on right now, lay 'em on me. Just throw 'em my way. And the 3 most problematic things going on in this prison are pretty big. So first of all, we got Eustace Kid breaking out. Awesome reactions, by the way, by Queen whenever he learns these 3 things. It's pretty good. Honestly, the highlight of the chapter for me. I thought it was funny enough that it just kind of carried the rest of the chapter. Number 2, somebody has stolen the keys to the Sea Prison cuffs that are locking people up. We already know who that is because a few pages earlier we saw Raizo darting around, and he's on his way to save Luffy. Number 3 is still going on. Luffy is trying to escape. He's basically just beating everybody up and just causing a ruckus. Interesting thing about Luffy, they keep talking about oh, well, he must have a ton of stamina and whatever. Those Sea Prism cuffs are meant to weaken a Devil Fruit user, but they're not meant to totally to take him out. But at the same time, he shouldn't be able to do too much. So he says he's using it to train so that once the cuffs come off, he is going to be super, super strong. And I don't doubt it. Anyway, so we cut away from the prison for a little while, and we see Frankie, Law, and Usopp hanging out with the laughing guys that Zoro was with a chapter or 2 ago. But Zoro has now left, and they are left there and just kind of hanging out there. And then they realize that Sanji's gone, and then there's a joke about oh, where did he go? And that kind of leads into the very next scene, which is the bathhouse in the capital with Nami and Shinobu and Robin. And I honestly thought he would show up at this, but I guess he's not going to? I bet he's somewhere else entirely. Maybe with the intention of showing up at the bathhouse, but I don't think it's gonna get there. In any event, they're just kind of chit-chatting about different things, and they mention Old Man Hyo again, and how he was a real badass, and they show him, and he's this real cool looking dude, and apparently he was really respected among the other Yakuza bosses and respected by the people because he was just real chill. And I think at one point they mentioned that like he was kind of on the Kozuki's side, or at least he was the underbelly of the region, while the Kozuki were on top. So it was kind of a nice synergy thing going on. So we also learned that Shinobu was once part of the Oni Wabanshu, which is that group of like ninjas that we saw, and she actually split from it after they had turned traitor and joined Kaido and Orochi. She didn't care for that much. Anyway, so we jump back to the prison, and you got Luffy and Old Man Hyo hanging out in front of Queen, and Queen's just like, so, hey, why don't you join Kaido's crew? Everything will go away if you just hang out with us and chill out. Luffy's not down with it. Old Man Hyo is basically begging for Luffy's life. He doesn't care about himself, but he wants Luffy to be let go, or at least forgiven. It's just basically Queen trying to figure out what to do with him. And I get the feeling he's got something plotting, because I feel like that's kind of like it's a cliffhanger, but it's kind of a fly-by-night cliffhanger, because you jump to something else that's way more of a cliffhanger, but I think that this is going to be way just as important. So the final thing in this chapter is that we finally learn who was in that prison cell, the mysterious prison cell that nobody knew who was in there except for maybe the characters, and they didn't even say who it was. And we finally learned who shot those bones out of the cell. And that is Kawamatsu, who is one of the 3 samurai that they were all told to keep an eye out for. So they know Ashura Doji, who is Shutenmaru? I think his name is Shutenmaru. Ashura Doji. Either way, so we know him. He's that fat guy. So now we learn that Kawamatsu is in that cell, and he's trying to get the attention of Raizo, who is actually hiding near his cell while Raizo's trying to figure out what to do with Luffy. So they're in a bit of a mess with Queen around, but I get the feeling that once Kawamatsu gets out of the cell, they'll be in a lot better of a situation. Plus, you have Big Mom and Chopper heading towards Udon, so about to hit the fan. Overall, this chapter for me was a bit middle of the road. It wasn't bad or anything. I can't give it a bad grade if I was grading things, but it certainly wasn't the most interesting chapter for me. It had some good parts to it. Don't get me wrong there. I liked the part where Queen was freaking out about those 3 worst things going on in the prison, and I do like that Kawamatsu's in the prison cell there. I'm glad that's a thing, but I don't know, it just didn't do it for me entirely. That being said, it does set up some really interesting stuff to go on for the future chapters, so I think it'll be really good. Well, that's it for me. Let me know what you guys thought about this chapter down below in the comments section, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, remember to subscribe if you haven't already, so you can get all kinds of notifications for when I upload. I will see you guys in another video. Bye-bye.